Hey, what's going on, Dollar Boys? We are back for deck number 9. This is the black-white Orzhov deck building around the Blood-Cursed Knight, and I'll just give you a heads up. This was not a pleasant experience. I'll tell you right now, this any kind of black-white enchantment-based deck is 4 pacifisms away from being viable. Until then, just trying to build around this guy. As long as you control an enchantment, he becomes a 4/3 with lifelink. Yeah, it was not pleasant. I'll go through the list real quick. 1 Bone Splinters, 4 Topan Freeblade, 4 Nimbus Wings, 1 Shadows of the Past, 2 Celestial Flare, 3 Reave Soul, 4 Heliod's Pilgrim, 1 Auramancer, 2 Graveblade Marauder, 3 Blood-Cursed Knight, 1 Archangel Tithes, 2 Kytheon's Irregulars, 4 Suppression Bonds, 2 Languish, 1 Hixus Prison Warden, and 1 Angelic Edict. Straight up 24 lands, 12 plains, 6 swamps, 2 isolated chapels, and 4 Orzhov Guildgates. So the reason being why it's so hard to build around this guy is because black doesn't really have too many offensive auras. I mean, it has, Infernal Scarring and Consecrated by Blood, but, and Necromantic Thirst. I mean, you don't want to be playing 4 mana auras, like, unless it's, like, fucking Angelic Destiny or some shit like that. And then, we have a Shadows of the Past, but, the second and third ones, they don't do anything. Like, yes, you get the multiple scry triggers. I mean, okay, technically they do something, but, if on your first scry, you're scrying to the top, then all these extra scry ones don't do anything. So the second, you keep something on the top, any extra scries will, not be good. And, really black isn't known for being, in a super aggressive. So, I mean, it was just, I tried to build a straight up, enchantment control deck with Sigil the Empty Throne, but, it just didn't work. And because we want enchantments with this Blood-Cursed Knight, like, Tragic Arrogance is not good in this shell. Like, if you're having to, like, play, like, Nimbus Wings. I know a lot of people say, oh, Tragic Arrogance is good with the Suppression Bonds. Like, yeah, it's good if you only have 1 Suppression Bonds out. But, once you start having, multiples out in play, then it starts to become shitty. I mean, not necessarily, but okay, okay, I'll take that back. Like, give me these fucking. There we go. I mean, when we're running this many creatures, and shit like Nimbus Wings, Tragic Arrogance isn't going to be good in this style of deck. Like, I mean, okay, it's good with Suppression Bonds. Like, you can Tragic Arrogance, and you tell them to keep the creature with, that you may or may not have prior Suppression Bonds. And then, one of the enchantments you keep is the Suppression Bonds. But then, doing it that way, then you're going to lose, like, any other kind of random enchantments you have. Like, Shadows of the Past will have to go away to keep your Suppression Bonds up. Like, any Nimbus Wings, if you play Sigil, that'll have to go away. I mean, you just have to make a lot of really fucking awkward choices with Tragic Arrogance. Do I think a black-white Orzhov control deck is viable? Yes, I do. But not if you're playing Blood-Cursed Knight. But like I said, we're doing all the gold cards, so we have to play it. We're going to try and build around it. The deck works. It's not great. It's just, this isn't really a card worth building around unless, like, you're fucking, like, drafting or playing sealed. Like, in a pseudo-constructed environment like Duels, like, I don't think he has the support yet, but we'll try. So, for creatures, we have the 4 Topan Freeblades, because they are great with Nimbus Wings. Now, actually, let's go over the enchantments we have. We only have 8 enchantments, which is another reason why Sigil the Empty Throne isn't in here. Actually, 9 Shadows of the Past. And then if you want to count Heliod's Pilgrim as an enchantment, since it gets an enchantment, you can do that too. But really, it's just 4 Nimbus Wings and 4 Suppression Bonds. Like I said, a deck like this really wants 4 pacifisms. So those are our enchantments. So really only 9 that will get the Blood Curse Knight going. But the thing with Nimbus Wings is anything with the Nimbus Wings on it, as long as Freeblade is a renown, it'll be a 4/5. It'll make Graveblade Marauder a 2/6. On a Blood Curse Knight, a 5/5 flying lifelinker. Tithes doesn't really need a Nimbus Wings on it, but if he has one, it's a 4/7. Irregulars will be a 5/5 before renowned and a 6/6 after. Hixus will be a 5/6. The reason I bring that up is so our dudes can actually live through Languish in those situations. Other than that, like nothing is gonna live through Languish other than the Archangel of Tithes if it doesn't have a Nimbus Wings on it. So, and I have kind of a hodgepodge of removal here. You know, I just like to mix it up, keep your opponent guessing. Like we have the Miser's Bone Splinters because we want to get value off these Heliod's Pilgrims and the Miser's Auramancer. You know, because once they hit the field, they're not too great afterwards. You know, in all but like, you know, or in most situations, you don't want to be, you know, throwing your Nimbus Wings in either of these two guys. You know, unless you really have nothing else better to do. And then we have the Celestial Flare, you know, take down bigger creatures. I mean, the Celestial Flare and the Angelic Edict and the Suppression Bonds are mostly there for shit that your Reave Soul can't get or that Languish can't get. So like I said, it's kind of all over the place. It's just, it was really tough building around this guy. If you guys can do better, then go nuts. Start a YouTube channel and show us. Show us all. And as far as shadows goes, I was gonna remember we only have like outside of combat. What do we have? 1, 2, 3, 6, and I guess Languish 7, 8 actual kill spells. I allowed to kill shit outside of combat. And another thing, like maybe rarely this comes up, but if you're playing a Rumbly in combat and you expect something to die, like, you know, if you expect like a chump block coming for one of your guys, pre-combat Heliod's Pilgrim first. Like if you have it in hand and you plan on playing it anyways. So, you know, get your aura and then, you know, you have your scry. Like when I was building this, like I did some stupid shit. Like, you know, I attacked with my Freeblade knowing it was going to get chumped. So, you know, my shadows triggered. And then I was like, sweet, I'll keep that on top. And I was like, shit, you know, I have no other play but Heliod's Pilgrim this turn. So Heliod's Pilgrim shuffles your library and that fucking scry becomes useless. And so, let's see other guys. I mean, we have 18 total creatures. So, you know, every now and again, you know, the shadows alternate ability will go live. So that's something to keep, in mind. Now the Graveblade Marauder, I call it the Belbiv DeVoe, never trust a big butt and a smile. The girl is poison, so death touch, poison, whatever. This guy's kind of smiling, and you know, 4 toughness on the end. That's a big butt. So yeah, I'm reaching here. It's getting kind of late. I'm probably slowly going insane from doing all these videos so quickly. But you know, just it just holds down the fort, you know, while you're eventually, you know, just pecking away at them with huge, you know, Nimbus winged up dudes. So this is more of a mid-range deck than a control deck. You know, Tithes is more for the defense than the offense, but the offense is still good too. And then, you know, Irregulars, you know, tapping shit down left and right, which is why we kind of go super heavy white here. You know, 18 white sources compared to 12 black. And then, you know, that suppression bond, it's like the, you know, lock something down. You can use this to lock down a planeswalker too. And back to the removal spell, we have a Singleton Hixus. He's legendary. The thing with Hixus is, you know, you gotta take the hits for his ability to come in, but you know, you flash him and you can block something, let the other shit through, and then it should, and then, you know, you'll exile them for as long as he's alive. But like with a lot of the legendaries, I just run 1. And then we have the Miser's Edict. I used to have 2 Bone Splinters, but like I had like 2 games where I drew both, and it was fucking miserable. So I traded out 1 Bone Splinters for 1 Angelic Edict. You know, maybe we'll hit an enchantment every now and again. Lots of enchantments to hit. Zendikar's Royals. You know, Evolutionary Elite, Flame Shadow Conjuring, Tutelage, and it also exiles a creature. But you know, the exiling won't trigger Shadows of the Past, but I'm sure you guys knew that. So, yeah, Blood Curse Knight. Fuck you. But we'll try and make this work anyways. So let's go, Dollar Boys, into the lobbies. Dun, 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 dun. So let's see, what's our record at? We've played 8 decks, 3 games each. So 24 games. We were 22-2. Now I know, I mean, if you're like me, like, you know, you go on message boards or Reddits or whatever, and you always see people, you know, bragging about their records or whatnot, and, you know, what does it really mean? I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I find it annoying too. But in my personal defense, just remember that 22-2 record is with 8 different decks. It's not like, you know, we're just spamming one deck. So, you know, by the time, you know, we'll have 30 games played, we'll have played 10 different decks on camera. So, you know, something to keep in mind. Personally, I find a 22-2 record more impressive, and the game fucking crashed. That's a first. Well, let's get back in there. Alright, that's actually the second bug I've had with this game. The first one was during the campaign. Like, I zoomed in on a creature to AI cast, and then it just would never let me zoom back out. So I had to restart that duel. And I think it was actually during one of Chandra's duels, which I alluded to earlier. Chandra 2 and 3 gave me the most problems. Yeah, fucking quests are so annoying. Alright, battle mode versus matched opponent, aura deck, mid-range aura. Not even aura, I mean, you know, there's 8 auras and 1 enchantment. But yeah, hopefully Battle for Zendikar gives us a little bit more support for that Blood Curse Knight. I mean, you know, you can go like, you know, a black-white, you know, aggro auras. Like, but it's just gonna be like a worse Boros auras. And like, well, you know, what black creatures are you running? I mean, you could run a Child of Night, I guess, but you know, it's just, to me, it's not very exciting. So this is the elf deck. You know, in our previous Zorius Air deck, it could be Languish or Bust, since again, the Tragic Arrogance, like, if you don't want to take my word for it, put Tragic Arrogance like in this deck with all these creatures and the Nimbus Wings and stuff, and then, you know, tell me that it didn't suck. Holy shit. This guy's fucking maxed out. He ends zombies, and he probably has only played elves. If he's playing elves, I'm gonna laugh. Alright, so double Reave Soul into Kytheon, into Nimbus Wings. So once the Kytheon has the Nimbus Wings on it, it dodges the Guilt Leaf Winnower. So hopefully he doesn't just curve out perfectly to 5. Yeah, this guy must... Oh, he one of these foilers, too. He ends zombies. Okay. Alright, Graveblade. I mean, I guess I'm okay with that. Yeah, you know, if he curves out perfectly to 5, and he can hit our Kytheon's Irregulars before, you know, we get a Nimbus Wings on it. So you might have a Reave Soul, might not have a 3rd land. Guildgate, if he plays Jagged Scar, I fucking hit that shit immediately. We'll play Graveblade. Like I said, we run 18 creatures. So, I mean, his ability will trigger every now and again. You know, it's just like extra damage. I mean, right now, he just hits for 1. Alright, there's Huntmaster. And that's immediately getting Reave Souled. Do I see if he double blocks? and just offers me. Nah, that's stupid. I'm not gonna wait on that. But we have the Languish. We don't have the second swamp. I mean, Languish is really our only double black spell. I mean, I don't know. Do I trade 1 for 1 there? I don't think so. I don't think I'm the beatdown, so I probably shouldn't have swung there. I mean, Guildleaf gets us pretty good here. Okay, there's Nissa. That is also going to get Reave sold. I don't know why anyone would foil the cards in this game. They're just so fucking obnoxiously ugly. So he has his Reave Soul. Now I could play Irregulars and then I would just get destroyed by a Guildleaf Winnower. And you know, I still don't even have the follow-up, you know, Nimbus Wings. I mean, okay, we'll go for it. Did we lose? No, we haven't lost an aura yet. So let's just make him have the Winnower. He's not flipping Nissa yet. Probably have to Reave Soul. We can Nimbus Wings and Reave Soul next turn. I mean, basically he has to have the Winnower now if he's playing, like, you know, the same elf deck that I'm playing. I mean, he could run Fleshbag Marauder. That would be obnoxious. And also, we got to keep in mind if we jump this thing. Oh, he runs Bone Splinters too. All right. Well, on the bright side of that, we can Reave Soul the archers now. I need a 5th land. Okay, so he's still at 5. Let's just get this now. He's gonna run out of cards eventually. I mean, I think that's more dangerous. Like, 'cause he's still 2 lands away from Nissa. And if I rip a swamp, then this game is pretty much over. Like, do I flare here? I don't really think this is a flare turn, but it might be. Let's just keep him off, you know, dudes. I'm not doing anything else. Well, we also have Heliod's Pilgrim for suppression bonds on Nissa. I mean, he'll get 1 activation. He's playing Read the Bone. He's playing a weird elf deck. He's not all in on the elves. So he must not have hit a land, which is weird. Alright, I'm getting kind of fucked over here. Getting stuck at 4. Like, I'd even, you know, take a fucking plains at this point. Now, we don't want to suppression bonds the Nissa because it's a triggered ability. We want to suppression bonds it after it's flipped. But hopefully, you know, it just never flips. Yeah, Dwynen, that sucks. Alright, so now we need the swamp quickly. I mean, we have the trump card. Like, we just can't fucking draw the swamp. I mean, this is irritating. Do we just fucking go all in wings? We're gonna get destroyed by another Reave Soul. But we're just kind of like, you know, trying to bide time till we can Languish. Okay, so he was Elf control. We got fucked over. Like, any swamp, and, like, we just auto-win. I don't think there's anything we could have done in that situation. He's playing a weird fucking elf deck. But good for you. You made rank 40 with it, but who's really impressed right now? You guys have seen, like, you know, the majority of people I've played against. But good for him. I wonder if he's actually played any other decks but that elf deck. My gut tells me no. Yeah, any swamp, and, like, we just fucking win that game. I gotta know, it's just strange to see the 1-drop Black Elf alongside Read the Bones and 5-mana removal spells. Like, I guess Bone Splinters is okay. But that was a pretty disappointing loss. I mean, there's really nothing we could have done. I mean, he drew elves, he drew removal spells. I mean, we have the Celestial Flare there. We're not doing anything else with our mana. I mean, it just would have hit that stupid elf anyways. And being stuck on 4 lands for that long, too, also fucking hurt. Alright, so now we're going to go back to pub stomping. And he's on the fat stack. I mean, this isn't great. But I mean, we go Knight, Tithes, Bonds, maybe. I think I'll hold off on the Pilgrim for now. Maybe a turn 5. You know, Knight, Tithes, if we hit a 5th land, Pilgrim into Nimbus Wings. Yeah, we got 2 Bonds now. And for all you thousands of people who say I'm always flicking through my cards, yeah, thanks for pointing that out. I never noticed. It'll be okay. So, I mean, do I just get the fucking Nimbus Wings now? I mean, because this will just get shot down with the Twin Bolt or a Fiery Impulse. So because I have 2 Suppression Bonds, I'm going to get the Nimbus Wings. And hope, you know, either I put it on the Curse Knight itself or I actually just put it on the fucking Pilgrim. I mean, turn 4, I'm going to Tithes. That's a no-brainer. Okay, red-green elves. It's fine by me. I don't think red-green. I'm going to play the Tithes here, even though I might not have a really good turn 5 play. So we can't really be swarmed. This would be a good time to draw the Miser's Bone Splinters. I'd be happy with that. And Suppressing Bonds won't really, you know, take care of its ability. But it will lock down that Jagged Scar, which I'm going to do. He thought about swinging for a second, so he might have a Twin Bolt. But he couldn't swing because he'd have to pay, and then he wouldn't have the mana up. So I'm actually going to Bonds this now to protect my Archangel. And I'm not really the beatdown yet. Like, I'll get my beatdown on with the Blood Curse Knight. Like I said, mostly the Archangel is for defense. You know, if he eventually ramps to a Guy's Revenge, he's only gonna... We won't be able to swing with it. What the fuck is that? Is that a real card? Each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter can't be blocked by more than 1 creature. Okay. So basically, gives Arbor Colossus, or Outland Colossus ability to all its dudes. Alright, so... we have the Knight. It'll be, it's a 4/3. Because, you know, we control Suppression Bonds. And we'll make it a 5/5. And if he has Reclamation Sage, we have an Auramancer. So again, I'm going to leave the Tithes back. Like I said, it's our defense card. We want to make him pay mana to, like, you know, start getting in. Okay. It's mildly annoying. Are we off double black now? No. I mean, we only have 2 5-drops, Hixus and Edict. So if I swing with Tithes, it's a 3-turn clock. I think that's fine. Because if I swing with Blood Curse, it's a 4-turn clock. And then I think I'll Blood Cursed. And I'll cash in my Heliod's Pilgrim. You know, it's kind of a 2 for 2. I mean, because the Heliod's Pilgrim did get us a card. So it's not like we're 2 for 1-ing them ourselves, really. Alright, so it's over. Yeah, I mean, you know, he obviously doesn't have all the cards unlocked. It's D, it's Jagged Scar, a D. I think Jagged Scar is a D. Come on, game. There we go. Yeah, Jagged Scar is a D. So, I mean, there's no real reason here to swing with this guy. Okay, computer casts fog. Oh, we're at 25. And if anything, leaving this back means he won't swing with his 1/1, which makes our Celestial Flare much better. I mean, yeah, if he had Geyser Revenge, he definitely would have played it by now. I mean, he hit us for 7, and then we just fucking hit him right back. Alright, I'm just gonna flare that. There's no reason not to. I just bond the 4/4, because that way you can't activate. Let's see if the computer's smart and it activates it before the bonds resolves. On the 1/1. Nope, computer's not smart. I mean, we can still get a Twin Bolted here. He blocks and Twin Bolts, or even a Titanic Growth, or all manner of nonsense. So he pays the cost to be the boss. Corsamite. Okay, I mean, he had to have something. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I mean, we have... Well, it sort of matters. If he deals with the... Wow, okay. Good job, AI. Like, if he had a way to deal with the Blood Curse Knight, which I don't really see how, in green-red, at 5 toughness, then we wouldn't have had lethal. So 23-3. We've lost to the Boros Aura Mirror, blue black, turn 4 Languish, while we were playing the blue white Flyers deck, and we lost to some Golgari Elves control hybrid. Which, whatever. You're gonna lose games. There's no getting around it. As I don't think we played that elf game bad. We just didn't draw a swamp. We have lots of swamps. I mean, we have 4 Guildgates and 2 isolated chapels, plus the 6 swamps, so 12 swamps in the deck. 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 12 12 black sources, and we only saw one. Alright, Hydra Vinny. It's a weird way to spell Vinny. Like I said, I'm not really happy with this deck. I don't like it. I don't like Blood Curse Knight. And I don't like this hand. This is better. I still don't know if Graveblade is something I'm interested in jumping with Nimbus Wings. This guy's just mulliganing like crazy. Alright, he's done, so... Yes, we're playing against AI, but we are playing against a human person's deck. So to me, it's still sort of like playing against a human. And in a lot of cases, the AI is smarter than the human. Ah, look, there we get our Languish. I wonder what kind of simic deck this guy has. One that doesn't run a lot of lands. Or she's just getting screwed. So, okay. Beat down. I guess I'm glad this is gonna be over fairly quickly. So I can move on. Oh shit, is this the Hakeem special? The Timberback Wolf? It's so bad. Yeah, I'm not the beatdown here. Let's get Irregular. Let's not take our X-Lax and get Irregular, bitches. Let's lead that guy back to block, because if he plays a second Timberback Wolf, like the Irregulars can't block it. I mean, it could, but it'll just trade, and that would be bad. And we lost power.